Welcome everybody to the Just Jump In live stream. Happy Friday. I hope everybody's doing well. Brad really wanted a virtual cookie tonight, and so say hi to Brad. Go for girl. Welcome Brad in. Really wanted a virtual cookie. Let me know if you can hear me. And I don't know, there was like a delay in it. I don't even know if you saw the countdown. Something weird was going on, but I see a picture online, so hopefully you can see me and hear me as well. But good evening, everybody. So thank you, Gopher Girl. So why do I have this on my desk, on my workbench? As you all know, I've been having some allergy reactions to super glue. Found out that I don't know exactly if it's the case, but I've been using this odorless super glue, hoping that it doesn't bother me like other super glues have, and I get some breathing problems with it. And I thought that it wasn't. Because this one takes longer to dry, I use the Bob Smith Industries Instaset, and it instantly bonds things. So I come to find out that this actually has CA in it. So the more I use this, the more I think I was being affected by it initially. So then I waited as long as I waited trying to get the breathing better and everything and handle the allergy to it. And then I went ahead and used the odorless super glue without the Insta set. So either I've just become too sensitive to it, or it doesn't matter, and even the odorless bothers me. So I went to the hardware store after researching and got a mask that is supposed to handle those vapors, and I haven't used it yet. But I've been spending the time this week just getting better, flushing my lungs of everything, and working on the dollhouse furniture display, because that's all 3D printing. I don't have to worry about fumes or anything with that. So I've actually haven't worked on anything. And then the other thing I've been working on was, as I showed you last week, the Sculpt-A-Mold, and that's all being done for both an article and a video. And so I've been also working on that, and what I've been doing is I've taken the video of me doing all the steps, and then I've been taking stills from that to use in the article. And the article seems to be pretty long. It's at 10 pages now, and I have some to go. So even though it's considered a primer, it's seeming like it's taking me it's gonna be a long article. Now I'm doing it for our Fusey, which is the Thousand Lakes Region's newsletter, so there's plenty of space for it. There really isn't a space limitation on that, because it's a digital newsletter. So that'll be my next primer article, and I'll put out a video as well. I haven't put out a video in a long time, and this is the best way to get good pictures, or decent pictures. I think they come out a little dark. I think they need a little work, but so I haven't used this yet. Seems to fit fine. Did all the tests that you're supposed to do with covering up the vents and trying to breathe through it, and it seems like it'll work. And I can get back to model railroading, which I really want to get back to. couple events this week with the Twin Cities division. On Tuesday, we'll have our division meeting. I don't know who's in here right now, but I will have another wonderful little tool gift for the attendees of that meeting. I'm hoping to. I'm printing them right now, and everybody seemed to like the holder for the Microsol and Microset, and I literally haven't spilled since then. I spill these all the time without them, but with them in here, I haven't spilled, and so this is a good tool. I printed a bunch of these, brought them to meetings, and they were gone. Everybody took one. So I have another tool that I'll be bringing. Hopefully, if I can get the printing done, it does take a while to print off a bunch of them. So, hey, Mom, welcome in. Nice to see you in here. And Ken, you snuck in too. Hey, Ken. The other event is our skills day, or skills days, I think they're calling them now. But that's tomorrow, and it's my favorite event because it deals with actually doing stuff. And let's see if I can pull this up for you guys. Let's see if I can present this real quick, but it's out on our website at tcdnmra.org. Let's see if we can share that. And you can get rid of me off of there. But this is our Skills Day event. It's from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. tomorrow in South St. Paul. It's a big warehouse space with lots of room for lots of people to come share their skills. There's going to be four skills that we're going to be talking about: painting miniature figures, tuning up rolling stock, JMRI tune-up station, which we've had before, and I think I need to bring something for that. I'm going to be bringing, I have a bunch of unpainted miniature figures that I'm going to bring, and anybody can paint them. I don't know if I used any yet. I know when I'm building the I think I bought a bunch of seated passengers, so I used those for the private car, which I'm still need to finish. But I have had for years. I inherited somehow this bag of figures, and so I'll bring those. And if people want to practice on them and take them if they want, they can do that. I'm not sure that I'll be using those unless they do a bang up job and want to give them back to me, then I'll do that. Also, there'll be a area where folks will be talking about tuning up your rolling stock, and what's really we got some more people. So the quilt retreat ran one out, Randy. So we need to recruit Charlie to come. She could have taught us all how to quilt at the skills day. I also tried to get Gopher Girl to come in and teach us all how to do Legos and maybe build the Lego train set. But I don't think she's going for that. Hey, Jimmy, welcome in. Oh, cool. You'll be helping with mini painting. And so the setup of this event is really neat. It's Jimmy's going to be there when he says helping. He's going to start out. He's going to give his tips. He's going to get the conversation rolling, and then everybody's going to contribute, and we'll all practice and become better because of us sharing the skills. You'll see some pictures, a couple pictures out here of some decaling, some tree making, and some weathering that we've done in the past. But there will also be a weathering scrum at this one. It seems to be very popular. We've had that at a couple, and different weathering techniques. So, for instance, one of them, it was how to use what we call taco sauce, or the Tamiya panel liner, and it just turned, and so we had kind of like a moderator who got us started and everything. And then we all gave our tips, and I had already been using them. I brought mine with and shared it with everybody, and shared my experiences with it. And so it's a sharing of ideas. We're learning from each other. It's a lot of fun. I could make that a whole day thing, but we generously have been given 3 hours to work in this warehouse, but by one of our members' family. And so I'm not going to give horse in the mouth. I'm just going to go enjoy it tomorrow. So if you're able to attend, please do so. The website has the address, and you can see that this year NMRA members, Twin Cities members are free, and for non-members it's $10 at the door, and that just helps cover the materials that we'll be bringing in. So I didn't tell you couldn't come. You can come as long as you have train sets for all of us, but yeah, it's gonna be a good time, and hope to see everybody there. Jimmy, you're gonna have to help me learn how to paint with shaky hands. I've tried many a times to steady my hands, but I kind of have a mild tremor, so it always makes painting very small things very interesting. So okay. So that's what's coming up this week. So we're kind of getting in full swing. In December, we'll have our Christmas party, which is more of a social get together. And thank you, Ken. Modelers under 16 are free. And any chance we can share those skills with children is a wonderful thing. So bring them along. Then as we get into I suppose we'll have a November meeting, then December get together, and then I think we go virtual for a couple meetings in January and February. So lots coming up for the Twin Cities division, and I'll be looking forward to it, Jimmy, because I need the help. So, okay. So let's go back to me first, or my camera over here for a sec. So, as you know, I've been working on this display for my mother's next show in November, and dollhouse miniatures are 1 to 24 is half scale, and full scale is 1 to 12. That's 1 inch to 1 foot. So you can imagine this is pretty darn big. I think this was 9 inches. And I've done, you can see here, I've done a whole bunch. Now, why is this? Wow, that's, let's see if I can get this. Wow, too much light. I did replace a light bulb in this room, and it is very bright in here. But a couple of things. For one, it's too big for my printer, so I had to split it. So I have So this is going to be two pieces together, and then behind it is going to be a floor. So one of the things I had to do is get and you can't really see this real well because of the glare here. Let's do it. There we go. I wanted to get this done nicely, and what I think I'm going to end up doing is I've been debating, do I paint this or do I just print it, print the lettering in a different color? The other thing is I don't want to keep this necessarily white, but it has to be a light color because we don't want the focus on this. What we want it to be is give you the idea of like a storefront and then have the furniture behind it. And of course, when I need that stuff, we toss it aside. So this is just one of the things, but essentially we want you to be able to look through the window and have a scene in here where you see, the furniture. And then we can put lighting behind this very easily. I turned my mom onto the Just Plug lighting system for its ease of use. And she actually is close by the Yankee Dabbler hobby shop if she ever needs supplies. She doesn't have to order them online. She can just go out there. So she has that already set up on a couple of her displays, so she can easily add to this and just put something, on the back end here so that it can focus on the furniture that's behind it. So essentially, I also, to make sure that it looks kind of correct, I have, this is the back frame of it. And so to make it look correct, I actually made a floor this thick that would go behind it. And I'm sorry for this is as good as I can with the cameras. And then I had to split that up too. So these will be connected together. And you can see I've done a whole bunch here. So, and I keep printing them. I have to pick up some filament this weekend. You can see one of the I don't know if you can see that here, but this stringing in here, I didn't use supports for this because the way this was printed like this, it didn't need supports for most of it. The letters didn't seem to need supports, but they have some issues there. Also on a couple of these tries of this stringing on this end. So to solve this stringing, I actually use supports. I've never done manual supports. I've always done what the system, what the bamboo slicer would do for me. But for this, I only needed them along here. So I created them myself, and they ended up working out really well. And of course, you can't see that because I have what just happened here? I just made a mess of my screen here. Hopefully you can still, okay, so you can still see me. So I have this, the window can come out. But you see in this version, I don't know if you can see that real well. It's a little rough because of the supports, but you won't see it, and there's no stringing, and the window will fit in there. I put them in from the back. So a couple things still to work on to get this right. So you have that. And then I had another issue with this. So here it is. And then what did I do with that? Window. So I printed the window in beige, again, using a light color so it's not the focal point. And it was just not quite fitting in here. When I put this together, I could get the bottom together, but there would be a gap at the top. So I was trying to figure out how to fix that. Now, don't worry, this is blue because I just picked up some blue filament. That's the only reason for it. But I literally reduced this by, I think it came out to whatever it was in millimeters, 0.9. And I took that 0.9 off just to take just enough off. And it's not going to stay for me because it fits now. But both the top and the bottom now fit together. And you really, for the purposes of this, you're going to end up still seeing the seam, but it's going to be tight together. So it shouldn't be too much of a distraction. So a couple things I'm working on now that I got that, I've got to get I have beige coming tomorrow, or Sunday. I have the beige coming, so I'll be able to print this size out, the correct size. But how do I make this easy enough? I've got to, thank you, Mom. I appreciate it. I tried as best as I could with the fonts that I had to match what your logo is. I tried to steal it from the website, the lettering, but it's actually like a JPEG, so I couldn't tell what the lettering was. So I appreciate that. There's we'll have to definitely fix that up, though. We still can do more on the lettering, but it looks very close to what's on your website. Then my concern was I could ship this in a big box and put it all together, or I could do something that maybe makes it compact and protects all the pieces and just makes it easier to pack. And so what I determined to try to do was actually create a dowel system. So to have dowels, a couple dowels down here and one up here, so that it's easy to put together. And then again, with the floor, just have dowels to put them together. And so I did some testing. So the first test is this one right here. And it's much bigger. It's much more exaggerated because I wanted to try it. And simply, it has a chamfer on the edge here to make it easier to put in here. It's not just a straight edge all the way around. And then this is maybe 5/1000 larger so that it's tight enough, but it's not so tight. And you have to worry about printing clearances too. So when that translates, sometimes layers can, when they melt, can melt larger or smaller than what they're supposed to be. So, but this one comes out, goes in, comes out just fine. It's tight, which is good. So the next thing to identify is, can we do multiples and can we get them smaller? So I printed them smaller, almost Lego-like. And so you have one side with the holes and you have one side with the dowels, and they'll go together like this. So when there'll be, the dowels will come out of that side, and so when they come together, they'll be nice and snug. Nora can put it together for you, Mom, if you're not able to do it. But literally, I'm going to have two dowels down here and one up here, and it'll just fit together. And then I can do, if we need to, I could do dowels on the ends of these, but they'll be dowels on the side. So the idea is not to have it move around too much. But what you can also do with this, and what I encouraged my mom to do, is use some contact paper or something very neutral that's going to keep the focus on the furniture, but is going to look a little designer. So like contact paper or, you know, shelf paper, if she can find a neutral design. Then she could put that over top of this, and then this would just fit on there, and it'll be tight enough where everything will stay. You can reach behind it to pick up a piece of furniture if you want to show somebody. So I know it's crunch time. I'm going to have to get this out to you. I'm going to have a plenty of mailing time, so that it can get out to you and deal with any mailing issues. But that was the idea here. And I think it'll work pretty good. And then, you know, we can tweak the design if we think the design could be better once you have it displayed. Yeah. So this one is no fumes, so I could work on this one, and so your explicit instructions, Mom, are to put them together like this. So the only other thing you'll need to do is put this in the middle once it's together. The other thing I was thinking about was, is there some kind of latch I can design, or something I could design on the back ends of these so it keeps them tight together? So I'll be working on that as well. So some kind of connector here and a connector here on the bottom, just to keep them together. And then we're going to have to just determine, I'm wondering if maybe, because this is slightly smaller, just so it'll fit right, I'm wondering if this is going to need to be glued to one side so that it can come in like this. So I may do that. Dowels might be a little tough on these because this is so small. But thinking on my feet here, I think I might do that. These fit in so tight that you don't need to glue them in. So I need one of her dollhouse miniature clasps to, or a couple of those there. But these you don't need to do anything with. They don't need to be glued in or anything. They fit right in there. And then, unfortunately, the other thing is these are more draft mode prints. And again, because it's maybe just a little too light. Let's see if I can get. Nope, that just me. There are lines here. From it being I mean, there are going to be lines, but this one has a lot less. This one was a more draft mode that I did. When I'm finally printing the final one, it's probably going to be a full day print just for one of these. Right now, this one side of this is about 3 hours and 45 minutes for this one, and I think it's just around 4 hours for this one. Obviously, the difference is the lettering. That's going to be a lot longer because if I either use the finer nozzle or I just use a finer line for the printing. So we'll figure that out. So we have a couple things left to do. So it's printing the dowels out, working like these are. This is so much like a Lego. It makes me want to play with Legos. And yes, you can print your own Legos if you want to 3D print them. Do you want to use this is not ABS. I can't use ABS because ABS has fumes, and I have an open printer with the Bamboo Lab A1. But if you have an enclosed printer, you can use ABS. That's the plastic that Lego uses, and you could certainly print out your own Legos. But that's what I'm focused on. I gave myself, I have just another week to really get this done, and I have to include printing time in that to make sure that I can get this mailed out. So still have to work a little bit on the lettering, figure out how we're going to keep this in here, do the dowels, and then the fine printing. Those are the things that need to be done. The idea of this is hopefully really not to have to use glue or anything like that. But this is the one piece that we might need to do that. And I promised my wife that she can have these back. I give them to her because she's a fidgeter, always has to have her hands moving. So she sits there and play. In one night of me giving these to her, I almost couldn't get them away from her to show you what I was working on. But yeah, that is in a nutshell what I've done this week. What's everybody else working on this week? Been trying to get Gopher Girl back to her Legos because I need to reclaim some of my space. Still haven't gotten her back to her Legos, but hopefully she can get working on some of that this weekend. But what's everybody else working on? Oh, the other thing that I'm going to do is I cannot find for the life of me my original Just Jump In sign. So I keep having these other projects, but I have it queued up to reprint so that I can have a sign back over here like I like to have, because of StreamYard not allowing to use overlays except for the one example they give, and that's the countdown clock. And just not having those tools. So I want my sign back. And so there you go. So that's what I'm working on. Oh, and Mom, you can tell me if you want this. I don't know. I did just so you could see it through here. I just kind of did a little bit of over exaggerated dry brushing just because this is kind of dark. But this was my display I printed. Somebody had a file on it, and if you want it, I can send it with. It's a nice little print. I wouldn't put it out for sale or anything like that. It's not worth much. It's worth pennies. But if you wanted it, you can have it. The other weird thing, and if anybody's a 3D printer and can help me out here, and I don't know if it has to do with the specific filament or what settings. I'm still new to the settings game. But just printing out a simple rectangle like this, I need just, let's see, once again, if, let's see, you can kind of make out some lines here, unfortunately, not very well. There we go. Okay, there we go. So you have something going on there, and this is the top end of it. The bottom end I can tell because it has some indentations from the glue that I used on the plate and everything. But even at the top, on these edges, it's almost like it's crinkled up. So it happened there. It happened majorly on this one. You can see right in there, it's all rough. It's just not smooth. Again, see if we can get it, but can't quite get it on this one, but there's some stuff going on with the edges. Now this was a white PLA, one brand. This is another one. And This is one, by the way. Um, Hobby Lobby just started selling cheap PLA. It's $12.99 for just the regular PLA, and then they have some silk PLAs for like $17.99 that they're selling. And this blue is theirs. And I've printed other stuff, and it works great. There's nothing wrong with it. This same problem that I had with this one, with these, kind of came up over here too. So if anybody, on the show or tonight or after the show watches this and has any suggestions, here's more of that kind of bunching up, which I don't recall in printing anything flat lately that has that. And here's, again, this is the build plate side. And the reason this is uneven and has these marks on here, those are glue marks. Those are some rough edges from when you're scraping up. One of the things I suggest is having more patience than me when you're pulling off a print off the printer. Wait till it gets to room temperature; it'll come right off. Everyone gets has a scraper to pull out. You can bend the plates to pull these off, and you have a scraper where you can pull stuff up, but it can do some damage to the plate. And that's all. This is all damage to the plate. These are glue marks from a previous print. And then there was actually some of that kind of bunching up or fraying or whatever that is there. I'm just not sure what did that. It's a very thin top layer. You can see kind of the cross hatch that's on the inside. There's not a lot of infill in here. Don't need a lot of infill. It doesn't need to be solid. These will work anyway, because again, my mom should put down you could even have different colors. It doesn't matter if you put down, something over top, whether you maybe you put down a plain contact paper and you put area rugs down to accent the furniture. So when the furniture's sitting on there, and you're looking through this, again, stays even with this, and then you can look through. So we're getting there, and hopefully we'll get there in time. I'll certainly send what I have if however it comes out, I will send what I have. But if anybody has any ideas on that, please hit me up in the comments. I'll respond to all comments. I don't get a lot, so it's pretty easy to do that. But anyway, those who do comment, like Jimmy, appreciate it. So a couple of things, Jimmy. First of all, what are you doing for the interior of the hotel? Do you have a one of those pre-made ones? Are you doing just some pictures? Are you doing furniture? And then for the roads, what are you using for what are you using to what did you use for your asphalt roads, and what are you using to paint the asphalt roads? The last roads that I did, and I really liked them, I actually used tile grout. And it's a really permanent thing. You're really not going to be able to get that stuff up easily off a layout, but it came out really nice. And I like it. And then I did for the road markings, I used it was a yellow pen, like crayon kind of thing from Menards that contractors use for marking. And then I forget what I bought colored pencil, a white colored pencil for the white lines. So. Okay, that doesn't sound. My door is closed and everything in my room, but I can hear the 3D printer, but it doesn't sound like it's going well. So I'm not sure what's going on with that, because when I look at the pictures from the printer, they look fine. So we'll see what happens. Nice. Lots of cutting and fitting foam core walls. Yep. Which building did I do? I did. It was a general store. It was the first ever Craftsman kit build that I ever did through New Tracks Modeling and their build alongs. And it got me started on building kits and all of that I went nuts with. I got a picture from online and I bent it and put it in there and everything. And you have to have the lights on to see it. And so it is lighted. But you have to have the lights on to see it. If you don't have the lights on, you can't see anything. So, but I'm looking forward to seeing what yours looks like. There are so many different ways to do roads. It's amazing how many different ways people do roads. And I've always used the Woodland Scenics road system. That's where I got this to use with the Sculpta mold. That's from their road system to level things out, to put the hydrocal in and stuff. But there's so many people do that. People have done the craft foam. I did a soft craft foam to do the blocks for my N scale layout, to do these 2 city blocks and to do the sidewalks and cover the buildings. And then I did the Woodland Scenic Road system. So I like trying. That's why you see me doing all these projects, is I like trying different things. I don't want to stop trying different things. So agree. It's I got what is it? Highways and Byways has the road markings and parking lot markings. So I got a set of that for my N scale layout, and I did a parking lot to try that out, and then I did one road that had the stripes from that. I sort of like painting stuff on better because it blends into the road more, but they're nice, they look nice and everything, and they work. And a Sharpie works too. The other thing I did on I didn't do this on the Woodland Scenic Roads, but I did it on the Tile Grout Road. I was using stuff to make oil stains and things, but what I didn't do to start with is I was just putting the stains in, kind of thinking about where the cars would go, and so they were these giant stains and way too big even for a truck. And I learned from that is get the car out that you're going to use, the cars or trucks that you're going to use, put them down, roll them on there, figure out where you want tire marks or tire wear, figure out where you want oil droplets and stuff, and you're going to have you're going to have a more scale experience. So that was a learning thing for me to make it, to make it more scale. So smooth it. That's what it is. It's not. Yeah, it's smooth. It's smooth it. But I thought smooth it was just hydrocal, but I could be wrong. Where did I move those to? I moved it out, but one of the things I wanted to do was I wanted to model. It's not in here. Snow. Not snow. Well, snow covered roads, but not the pristine white. But kind of salted and sanded roads that have been driven over. So I have this big board, this big plywood board where I have like 4 attempts, and I was doing different techniques there. One of them was using shaving cream. And I can't remember what the other technique was. It's so long ago. And then I was using some Mod Podge to try and give it a wet look. And so I wanted it to look kind of dirty and gray, like they've been sanded and you know, and plows have come by and driven over. And that's the stuff when I grew up in New Jersey, that's what roads would look like. And even out here in Minnesota, like right next to it on the ground, it's pristine white and everything, but the roads would look kind of sandy and gray and ugly. That's what I want to model. And I haven't gone back because I started down this road with the Achievement Program. I haven't gone back to do anything on that layout. I haven't done my most watched videos are layout updates. I haven't done a layout update in years because I just basically haven't been working on that layout. But I wanted to put that stuff on the roads. I still want to do that with whatever, you know, when I get these modules going and everything, I do the scenery and I have roads. I want to be able to do that. It's just a look that I remember growing up, and it's still out there today. And certainly would love to do that. Wondering if I have easily accessible pictures of that, because that was really interesting. Let me see if I have those and can share those, because let's see, where would I have them? I don't want that. What is going on with my screen here? When these screens reduce, it does something to StreamYard really weird, and I can't get this to expand. There we go. So pictures of, I don't know if I'll have them in here. Or nope, not there. Not there. Might strike out on this one. Oh, it has been a couple of years. If we go back, I had thought I had taken pictures. The roads, and I may have, and they may be in a format where they're not named. So, nope, not there either. Got lots of other stuff. It's in the update folder. That's way old. All right, I'm striking out very poorly here. Let's see. Oh, here, wait a minute. I think I found them. Let's see. Let's see if we can. Hopefully, there are no let's see. Let's see if there's a way for me to view. Just trying to see if I can do a slideshow, or let's see if I can just do a share screen. Yeah. See if this will work. So well, that doesn't work because it doesn't open that for you. Darn it. All right, so let's see if we can. How else can we do this? Paint. This is just going to open them all. All right, let me see if I can share this then instead. And your screen. All right. So here we go. Let's go full screen on this. Okay, so you should be able to see these now. So this is what I'm talking about. So this is the tile grout that I was using. These are going to be in no particular order. I don't know what order they would be in because I hope there are no incriminating photos here. But I did like on this, I did like 4 lines, 4 of these lines to be the roads to test on. And I did them really, really, really thin. Because grout's thick enough that it's going to come up and be really raised up off the surface. So I did them as thin as I possibly could. And on here, you can see that I was using the gloss Mod Podge, and you can see on the one on the left, that is giving off a little bit of gloss. Okay, so this one I attempted to use, obviously, a yellow craft paint to do the lines. And this is where you get a lot of practice with tape so that you can either paint or, or however you want to do it. But to have the right, look to it, and have the right lines. So there was a lot of taping to do that. Here were some of the attempts, another picture of the attempts at, let's see, let me get this bigger. So, let's go back here. So again, this was the roads are underneath, and this is different, obviously different strengths of paint and materials to simulate the snow. And also I didn't want it fully covering the road, again, just to have it covering it like it's been plowed, like it's been pushed down by the tires on the road. And here's one where I added the part of it. I wanted, again, to try and make it wet. And so I added some material to that to try and make it wet. And the lighting's not the greatest, but I also wanted it raised up because snow, bunches up and has tire tracks going through it. So I didn't want it this completely flat. So this is a good shot of having, the slushiness of the snow. Here's another one, kind of like this one close up. And I like it with the Mod Podge on it better. That gloss makes it more wet looking. So that's definitely something I would do, whether it's Mod Podge I use or I try something else. I don't know, because I'll have to come back to it. You can see the road markings still there through the snow. Another shot of this. Between the dry and the wet. And if you look at this one from a distance, I actually like the drier look, the less gloss, I should say, the matter, the flatter look, because I also have some texture to that with the snow. I think that looks pretty good, and it may be just the angle and the distance of the shot, but that one I like. This one was pretty, it has some good value to it, but I don't love the coverage on it. Here again, I do like where the snow is bunching up on it, and giving it that texture and makes it feel like you're driving through slushy or heavy snow. In the middle between these two road samples, that's the shaving cream method. It would have to be sealed somehow. This on some of it came off. Like, the shaving cream's so light that I think if you bump into it, or you're sanding something, go too far, you'll knock some of that off. So you have to be careful of that. It's a very light medium because it's just fluff, really. And here's some more looks to that. And I can't remember what material's in the middle of this one. I don't believe that's the shaving cream. I don't remember what material that is. It's, again, so long ago. The one on the left, I like the texture, but not the color. Um, between these two roads, the coverage works on both of them. So you can have a much heavier covered road, or a lighter covered road. Here are the 4 road samples side by side. And varying results on all of them. So to me, they all have value. So we'll have to come up with the right mixture, and it has to go along with the right scene. And last week I showed you kind of the snow cover I did when I was doing the as part of the demonstration for the Sculptamold, and how starkly white that was. And I said, I have to go over that. It's too white. I can't handle it. It was just way too white for, if it was piled up high, that's one thing, but it's piled up lightly on there. It needs some color. So I think for light coverage, color, and everything, I think this one was a kind of the way I would like to go, unless I do a heavy scene. Here's some of that road work that I did with the with the tile grout. I did, because the tile grout ends up being so hard. I did end up on some of the edges having the blue tape be permanent, and I just covered it up with other stuff because I couldn't get it off of there. But doing the lines, you can see I used both the blue painter's tape and the Tamiya tape. That's all Tamiya tape to get those lines in, protecting the track heavily here. The other thing to cover the track, and that's being covered right now. But let's see if we have some more. That's the kind of crayon on here, and that ended up being paint. The white ended up being, I'm sorry, not paint, pencil that I did. And here's those oil stains that I was talking about, that some of it looks nice, but it's just way too big to in my opinion anyway. If my opinion's worth anything on that, it just seems out of scope. And if you put a car on top of that, you can see that. Here again, it's more work on the oil stains, and then and then the grime that's on the road from between the tires. And there's a picture from above, and you can see how stark those puddles are. Here's, for anybody who's curious, this is some work with the Smooth It that Jimmy's talking about. And this tape that comes along simulates the height of sidewalks and acts as the edge. And this, when you're smoothing it over top, you smooth it over top along those lines, and that gets you the right height of the road as well. And I'm sorry, their suggestion is, if you want to do sidewalks as well, is you actually put another layer of this tape that they provide over top, and that gives you that level. So sorry. And this was the tool that you not only pour that stuff in or help put that stuff in, but you bring this along, and then you just clean up the outsides of it. You can see how there's spillover on the edges, and over here, and you just clean that up, and it pops off pretty easily, and comes off quite easily. It works well, and it looks good when it's flat. I've always had kind of this stuff show up, where there's gaps in there and you have to fill them in, and there's a little bit of a struggle, but when it comes out really nice. I don't know if this is the paint that they include, but they include a kind of a gray, a concrete top road color and a asphalt road color. But here I am again playing with snow and grime. So these are some other attempts that I'm working on. I really like personally the grout, that gray grout. And so I kind of want to work with that, even though it's really permanent. So here's again piles of snow on the side that's whiter than the snow that's been treated on the road. And here's a reference picture of what I'm talking about, in case you haven't experienced it yourself. But you have all this white snow on the side, but you have all this grime looking snow on the road, and some of it's driven over, some of it's actually plowed, but it's this great, it's filled with sand and salt and grime from the cars and trucks and exhaust and oil spill, and so it has this gray murky look to it, and that's what I want to try and model at various levels. This is obviously a very snow-covered scene, so but that, yeah, so I and let's go back over here. So yeah, so I appreciate Jimmy bringing that up, because that's something I tried so long ago that I have to get back into. So I'm sure Gopher Girl's going to comment here in a second if she's still watching the chat, because all she does all year long is beg for snow. She's a South Dakota girl, grew up in, lots of snow. Me personally, I like the global warming thing just for the fact that there's less snow. And I don't mind snow per se. It's not awful. But it's a lot. And when I first moved out here, it was a lot of snow. It just hasn't snowed as much. It's not as big of a deal. I'm just getting older, and my bones don't like the cold as much. Don't like, being stuck in the house because I can't get out of the driveway because I'm too stubborn to shove our driveway when we pay for that, and we pay more and more each year for that, and it doesn't get done and stuff. So I'm just a grumpier old man than I used to be, but yep, and there she is commenting about that snow again. So right now, outside of the two events this week, the meeting and the skills day tomorrow, I'm going to continue to work on this project because I got to get this done. The article doesn't have to be done till the end of November, and my mom's show is coming up at the beginning of November, so working on that first. So any specifics to those dates? Is that just around the Christmas holiday, Ken? Because I know, Gopher Girl wants to know all the time, I think, but she just last year, I think it was, she begged for it just for Christmas, and then she wanted it gone. So yeah, the funny thing about our older dog Kaya, she learned to go potty in the snow, and as the snow would melt, she wouldn't go off to the side, or when we were walking her, she had to find the snow. And we had this mound because our road ends at the end of our block. And so what they used to do is they used to just pile the snow there, and she would go over to that pile and she'd play in that pile. She would go to the bathroom on that pile. And then it would get smaller and smaller and smaller, and she'd have less place to go. And she'd be walking around in one little spot when it was down to one little spot left. And I said, since she learned this, that she has to go in the snow, is she not going to go to the bathroom until next winter, and until there's snow again? And luckily that wasn't the case, but it was a little nerve-wracking because she would only go on the snow, and that was because that's how she learned. So yeah, it's interesting. I kind of, more than the snow smells, the smells of the Christmas time and everything, that's what I can't wait for. So now that all retailers have all the pumpkin stuff out, I just bought some coffee that way. That's the smell of that sparks some memories and things, so that's all good. So I kind of like that, and there is a little bit that I like of the chill that comes with the winter time, where you get under a blanket and get nice and cozy and snuggle up and everything, and it's I like that. Those illicit memories and things like that. But I could do without the snow. Just crotchety old me. Yeah, she does. It's like she does that with any smell she likes, and things like that. Where she rubs her body in it, like she's like it's a drug. But she does that. It's kind of funny. So, but so I appreciate everybody coming out and hanging out with me for the hour. And Gopher Girl and I still have a little part of date night left tonight, because the Gopher hockey game started early, so we've got to watch the third period, which we had to cut off for the live stream. But we're going to go do that, and I'm going to get some sleep because I'm like an excited little boy going to the skills day tomorrow. And then once skills day is over, on my way home, I'm going to pick up what I need, and I'm going to get back to working on this dollhouse display. So everybody remember to just jump in and have a fantastic weekend, and pray that there's no snow. Anyway, have a good night, everybody, and have a good weekend.